It's 2011. EDM has become the biggest sound in the world. The path to success was clear. Make the banger, play the festival, cash the check. But two of the scene's brightest young stars look at that playbook and threw it away. My name is Tumon, and this is the story of how two prodigies built an alternative model for what an electronic music artist could be. This is how Porter Robinson and Madeon outlived EDM forever. Porter Robinson and Madeon, real name Hugo, met in a music production forum when they were both 14 and 12 respectively.
And I made a lot of amazing close internet friends from all around the world, from Norway and Switzerland and Belgium and America. But, actually Porter was the only American guy I knew that made this type of music or cared for it. So
we were both we were both, I think, awkward, kind of smart kids on our mom's computers, just trying to learn how to produce music.
So we connected because we were the two youngest kids in these kind of online communities that were making music decently well, so we found each other like that.
It wasn't clear in what specific music production forums they met, but all profiles of them in Eurodurnalin, Rob Made News, and ImageLine forum are still there on the internet. Bonded by their love of electronic music, they're initially rivals as they're the youngest kids in those forums.
We were almost like rivals because he was crazy, wicked smart, crazy good for his age.
I thought he was so interesting. He was very, very well spoken. He was clearly much smarter than everybody else in those communities.
Yeah.
Both interestingly started in the exact same niche, Hands Up, a subgenre of Eurodance characterized by fast tempos, anthemic synth melodies, and cheesy euphoric vocals heavily influenced by video games like Dance Dance Revolution, which was actually Porter's initial interest for music. Porter was heavily inspired by Rob Maith, a German music producer, and he was mastering this sound as Eco Wraith and eventually got signed to Yawa Recordings for Booming Track, which was wild for a teenage American producer living in the middle of nowhere, considering the genre's geographical roots. While Porter was chasing a specific genre-based success at that time, Madeon was honing a broader production palette with his French touch influences. In parallel, he released his own Hands Up track, Still Loving You under the alias DJ Demon with Arc Records Austria, but was also simultaneously producing French house as Waynemont, an anagram of One Money. This doesn't even count their other, even less documented aliases like Earpuff and No Mate for Madeon, or Bloodsphere, Audio Mission, and Antigone Moore for Porter. Also in the early days, they actually collabed for a remix of Back in the Game, and I am actually deeply fascinated by it. This is before Shelter, the albums, and certainly before a glimpse of a possible music career. They were just two kids making music with their parents' computer. The internet was their primary creative space and their school. And also they were part of one of the first generation of veteran producers who benefited immensely from the democratization of music software. Their early rivalry quickly gave way to mutual respect, and eventually, a deep friendship was built on the foundational brick of online shared passion. I mean, they really are prodigies if you deep dive into their forum messages. Porter was taking jabs at people twice his age, and Madeon's proficiency is well known within the ImageLine forum, even as far as providing the FL Studio default sounds. Their story of coming up seemingly is a one-in-a-lifetime moment where all collided, just before the massive explosion of the EDM boom. By 2011, electronic dance music became the biggest sound in the world. So what was this boom actually? For decades, electronic music was massive in Europe, but in America, it was still relatively underground. The EDM boom was the period peaking around 2011-2012 when it violently entered the American mainstream. It was a gold rush fueled by festivals like Electric Daisy Carnival exploding in size, pop radio suddenly adopting electronic sounds, and Skrillex becoming a central figure and the face of a new generation. Porter's breakthrough came from within that new white-hot industry machine. His track Say My Name conspired Beatport, which was the scene's holy grail. The story is that Porter's remix of Avicii's Sick Romance found its way to Skrillex via a sticky move by Porter's manager, who slipped the CD of it into Skrillex's car, and remarkably the plan worked. It led directly to Porter releasing his debut Spitfire EP on Osla, Skrillex's brand new label, which literally crashed Beatport. He was instantly anointed as a poster child for the American EDM sound and even coined the term complextro for his specific genre of electronic music. Also at roughly the same time, Madeon had his viral moment in a completely different lane. He uploaded Pop Culture, a live performance flawlessly mashing up 39 pop songs on a launchpad. It was the first launchpad performance on the internet and a pure display of technical genius and pop sensibility. The video exploded and suddenly he went from struggling in school and remixing The Pendulum and Deadmau5 to convince his parents of this possible music career to touring Australia and producing for superstars like Lady Gaga, Coldplay, and Ellie Goulding. Within a year, both were global names and they had to adapt to the pressure of being the prodigies of this new wave. Talking about both Porter and Madeon though, it's really difficult not to say one of their names without the other. While it's obvious Porter is the bigger guy, it felt like Madeon has been underrated for the longest time, although they both charted a similar path in their respective careers. Now why is that the case? I presume it's because of the initial path that they took. Porter went right under the wings of Skrillex/Ausla circuit, whilst Madeon blew off with pop culture. Porter quickly boxed into the already American-centric EDM, but Madeon's position is a bit of a fickle. He doesn't really fit into the usual French electronic music lineage like Daft Punk or Justice, but he's also really underrated in America as opposed to his peers. This might be partially attributed to his location as he remained in his hometown in France early in his career. And more significantly, the harsh early treatment that he received from the French media likely led to him feeling dejected. It must have been incredibly difficult for someone at that age to endure such harsh criticism, and I'm glad that he found a supportive community and a refuge among America. But also, one thing that I genuinely find intriguing at this stage of his career is that Madeon already internalized the label prodigy is inherently ephemeral and rejected it early on, solely to put the focus on the music itself, rather than his age.
And some of it, I guess, caught the attention of publishers. And I think a lot of it was just the curiosity of the fact that I was quite young. And so there weren't a lot of examples like producers that were. It's more common now because of the access of the technology. Yeah. But then, yeah, it was kind of a bit of a curiosity, I suppose. And so
he was 16 when he made the Raise Your Weapon remix, 17 when he did Pop Culture, and 18 when he worked with Lady Gaga. When I was 16, I was watching TikTok, I guess.
If anyone ever tells you that Porter Robinson lost at the Freak-Off, show them this clip.
In retrospect, he also stated that he modeled early Madeon to be this anonymous, tame, and wholesome figure, and tried to have a distance with the public view, the likes we see on French electronic artists. It has been difficult for him though, as he deeply elaborated later on in his sophomore album. So, while Madeon generates intrigue because of his age and he reclined on doubling down on fame, Porter, on the other hand, he famously took it kind of hard.
I was feeling like I wasn't being authentic. I kind of quickly realized that I was too nerdy, or I felt like I was too nerdy, and so I started trying to dress differently and cut my hair differently, and I started trying to be really cool, and I started trying to have all this confidence, and it was really a front, I think, for a lot of anxiety and fear and all this other stuff. But I was trying to be super hard and super badass, and I think just the dissonance of that, of me trying to play the role of this rock star DJ thing, and the fact that the sound that I thought was so cool, I just didn't think it was cool anymore, and I in fact was starting to feel like it was kind of lame. This thing really got sold down the river, and so there were times where I would be playing shows and I would just be looking at people. I'd be just standing there feeling nothing, DJing, and looking at people and just being this sucks, I gotta stop. I gotta stop doing this. I'm really unhappy up here.
It still comes as a surprise, even to this day, that Clarity, yes, that one EDM song, is courted by Porter. It was initially of a Zedd and Porter Robinson collab, but Porter ditched and it became a solo Zedd song, saying that he doesn't want to be involved in the mainstream lane of EDM.
And I thought that the combination of this vocal that Matthew wrote and this instrumental that I made was just magical. I record a bounce of it and I send it to Porter, and I'm like, Porter, I think this is perfect. And Porter was like, I like the vocal, but I just don't like how this feels on the song. And I think Porter was just going a slightly different direction in his career. He didn't necessarily want to get into the realm of big pop vocals on top of EDM music, and I really wanted to. So Porter at some point was like, just do your thing with it. It can be your song. He's still a writer on the song, of course. And we'll make another song together someday.
As one of the biggest EDM stars of 2010s, this is a surprising pivot. And he didn't just stop there. He rejected a Katy Perry remix offer, stated that it's a surefire way to destroy your credibility, and went as far as asserting the infamous EDM is entertainment, it's not art. While in retrospect he self-admitted that it was wrong-headed, I can kind of see where it's coming from. Imagine being celebrated for a sound you no longer believe in, and feeling like your artistic potential is being actively capped by expectations. It must have felt alienating and isolating for you at the age when you should have felt like you're on top of the world. Watching electronic music, the thing that you love, turns into the over-the-top current version of itself. Ultimately, he felt disillusioned by the genre itself. It's easy to get caught in the spectacle of fame, especially when you're thrown at it at such a young age. And both Porter and Madeon are seeming to adapt to it. Porter could have been the EDM superstar playing banger DJ sets, and Madeon could have continued to be the French one-of-a-kind prodigy or whatever, but they knew chasing a fad is not a viable way for a sustainable career. This is where I'm gonna draw the attention to Language, the one song that changed everything for Porter. But I'm also pulling Technicolor too, the 6-minute Madeon song from the pre-debut album era. Hear me out for a second here.
Like I did that song Technicolor, which like my fans loved. And it was like but that my labels did not understand. I realized I'm kind of like I feel a little alone here.
Language was Porter's first clear artistic manifesto. It was a complete emotional story with emphasis on emotion, and it explodes into this massive euphoric synth moment. It's the total opposite of the functional, aggressive drops of the Spitfire era. It was a monumental shift from the aggressive complex road that dominated in his early career. It was released in 2012, right at the peak of the EDM boom, yet it deliberately stepped away from the expected formula. Was he afraid of how it's gonna be perceived? Yes, of course, but turns out it became the biggest thing he's done at that point. And then Technicolor is Madeon's exact same move. It's a 6-minute instrumental that feels like a cinematic soundtrack than a standard EDM song in that era. It's a pure journey in sound, proving that he wasn't just this pop culture mashup prodigy. He was a serious composer, thinking in terms of movements and narrative. Both tracks prove they were already rejecting the formula, and they were thinking of music holistically, building narrative journeys and demanding you follow them. Now, this isn't to say that their labels didn't make some standard commercial moves once they were signed for the albums. We see some likely label-mandated things, like Lionhearted being pushed as the radio song for Worlds, or Imperium getting that massive sync deal with FIFA 15, but that's what makes Language and Technicolor so critical. Even before these big albums roll out and the major label machine fully kicked in, Porter and Madeon had already established their artistic terms. They had already drawn their line in the sand that proved they were prioritizing complete, holistic, emotional journeys over functional bangers that Porter mentioned. They don't just see themselves as music producer making tracks. They see themselves as artists creating worlds. And speaking of worlds, the debut album by Porter Robinson released in 2014. He famously abandoned the functional, aggressive, complexer sounds that make him famous for a deeply personal vision rooted in this flavor of 90s video games and anime, as well as the genre of synth-pop and indie electro type thing, to create this soundscape focused on escapism and fantasy. He explicitly rejected the DJ label to become a genuine artist-producer, building an entire sonic universe meant to be felt. Language gave him the crucial head start for this pivot, and which was also the biggest thing that he did at that time. It was the proof of concept that proved it could survive the main stage, priming the audience for the shift. Worlds took it further, and it's widely regarded as one of the most important electronic music albums of the 2010s.
He says that I was trying to create a real schism in what I was doing, in going from stuff that was strictly DJ oriented into stuff that's songwriting oriented.
And in the following year, Madeon released the debut record that defined his teenage years. It features a lot of guest vocalists like Kyan, Dan Smith of Bastille, Mark Foster, Passion Pit, Vancouver Sleep Clinic, and Aquilo.
He sees his album as being a natural extension of what he does. Madeon songs have never been these like explosive DJ tracks, you know? I mean, his DJ sets go great, but you don't see the Tiestos and stuff playing Madeon songs, you know? I think he always has had a foot in the artist, the more like artist and less DJ world.
One thing that really stuck out to me is his pop sensibility shining through his record. He never declares himself as a DJ or an EDM artist, he's just Madeon. Adventure is this sleek record of electropop, a collection of meticulously crafted songs that prove he could write massive, radio-ready hooks without sacrificing his complex signature sounds. It's also fascinating how both albums fell into place specifically because of the adversities they were facing. They have both opened up about the struggle too. If Porter was driven by a total disillusion for the genre, Madeon was battling a profound creative flaw, a burnout endured from constant touring and working.
Anxiety and fear, and I remember specifically, like, soon after it all kind of blew up, I was very uninspired for a while, and I toured a lot, but I felt like a fraud, like I couldn't come up with anything good. And this window of time between me doing my first 3 singles and me doing my first album was kind of difficult, and I was like, okay, this is all gonna go away now.
Okay, I'm gonna take both of these records side by side and assert that this seminal debut marks what's next for their 3 years. Worlds is a complete 180 of Porter's prior EDM work and adventurous Madeon's pop sensibility on display. Straight up. In my honest opinion, it's really the best of their traits. Also, they sang on some of the songs on their albums. Sad Machine has Porter singing, and also Madeon sang too on Zephyr and Home.
And at some point, I realized I sort of wanted to pivot towards standing in the front and writing the lyrics and singing these songs and becoming more of a songwriter and less of like a DJ. That was on my song Sad Machine for my 2014 album Worlds. And the idea there was that it would be this duet between me and this robot girl. And I wanted to be this like human robot call and response, but I wasn't much of a singer. So I sort of embraced this like gang vocal thing where I recorded myself like 1,000 times singing.
You can hear me doing layers in the background of Hear the Bells, and my voice is kind of in there on some other songs, but I had never done like a direct main feature on one of the tracks. And I had 2 days and I was trying to find a feature vocalist. Eventually I ended up just deciding to sing on the song myself. And so I booked a nearby studio.
It wasn't a normal thing for an EDM act to sing their own songs. It's like the Kids of Clarity again, where you have to bring a guest vocalist to draft the song. Both Porter and Madeon are definitely not singers. Technically speaking, they could have brought a really good vocalist in and just complete the album that way. It's also not a good commercial move if they do sing it themselves, as it removes the radio-ready polish of a record with a proficient vocalist. Porter duets with Havana the vocal on Sad Machine to portray the human, and Madeon performed on Home after an intense period of creative frustration and isolation. He locked himself in a room for 24 hours to try to make an EP. Both of these moments were just a catalyst. These 2 albums laid the necessary foundation, but singing one of few songs wasn't enough. They didn't just want to produce the music, they wanted to embody it. This desire fully realized their mutual dream is where we land on the era that Madeon calls their victory lap, Shelter. Shelter marks their one-off collaboration accompanied with a music video produced by Porter himself. He described this as a way for them to end both of their respective albums' era, and both Porter and Madeon heavily emphasized this to be one singular thing, one collab, one single, one live tour. No Shelter 2, them joining together as a band, endless remixes. This is their transient moment, a collaboration of 2 friends that have known each other before they even saw a glimpse of this insane career. Porter co-produced the music video with A1 Pictures and Crunchyroll that tells the story of a girl named Rin in her own reality built by her father after the world came to an end. It's about loneliness, sacrifice, and parental love, something that the duo had shared experience with. They wanted to embody the work itself, so Madeon sang on the record, and they built the live shows around them singing and performing songs from their own albums. I find that if you're a fan of Porter and Madeon later on, you'll look back at this era and realize how much you've been missing. A seamless show that showcases both of their discographies, there was nothing like it. You can see the recordings, read the stories, but you cannot experience what it was to be there when 2 artists at the height of everything choose to do one thing perfectly and then let it go. By making Shelter only happen once, they ensured that it would never lose its meaning. It stayed sacred, a moment frozen in time that could never be commodified or diluted. They made something beautiful, let it exist as it is, then move on. And move on they did, but separately and into a very different territory. I mean, what would happen if you wrote the ever-defining album that changes the landscape of EDM? The pressure is real. Alongside this is the intense period of writer's block, depression, family health problem, leak of his music, I'm not gonna even speak on behalf of Porter himself, as he already corroborated heavily on this devastating period of his life. It's clear that the pressure of Worlds rendered him unable to make music. He desperately needed a pivot.
You know, as far as what am I going to do after Worlds has been, I think, the biggest source of struggle for me over the course of the last 6 months. I came home and I had the opportunity to write music, and I was sitting down trying to write 10 hours every day, and not to be melodramatic or whatever, but it was a really, really hard time for me, and I was really down and just feeling really terrible about myself as an artist. In order for me to break this writer's block, I need to do something that doesn't need to be my magnum opus, you know? And so I hit up a few artists who made songs I liked recently, and right away, Nero hit me back, and they have this song called The Thrill, which is, I think, an amazing, beautiful synth pop track, and I was like, yeah, let me remix it. And I worked so fast, and I made something I was really happy with. And
conveniently, it brings us to Virtual Self. This is where I would say Porter really flexes his production skills to an insane degree. Virtual Self is his attempt to make songs inspired by early 2000s electronic music with 2017 production sensibilities, something that he dubbed as neo-trance. And again, this is the case of Love Letters and Nostalgia by Porter. Worlds were his attempt at frenzy and escapism. This is now his love letter to, you guessed it, Dance Dance Revolution. Fun fact, he scrapped to over 100,000 songs on Beatport to study the genre. He was really locked in to prove that he can make music again and to push electronic music even further. That is his own words. In a leaked email to industry people, he stated that the electronic music in 2016 has gone stale by the second convergence of pop, and for a hit to happen, you gotta throw an inoffensive tropical vocal. Honestly, this email is really Porter-coded. You can tell how much he loves electronic music as a whole. The question is, was Virtual Self a big risk for Porter? Well, yes. Starting a brand new alias with a completely different sound is always risky, but we knew Porter with his pivot. He always has something up his sleeves, and it somehow always pays off. It's like he primed his audience to never settle for anything he does, and constantly surprises them. He sold out shows in thousands of capacities as Virtual Selves with the Utopia system and even had to buy 100 tickets of his own shows to counter scalpers. Ghost Voices was also nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Dance Recording in 2019. For a side project, it's obviously a big feat. He then followed up in 2019 with his own festival, Second Sky, with artists that he personally curated and performed The Last Words Live and a set of Virtual Self. As for Medion though, he went missing. Throughout 2018, he maintained a very low social media activity and only performed a slew of DJ sets that year. Some speculate he's writing his next album, which he actually did. He teased the album slated supposedly for that year, but really, nothing ever came up. Until much later in a DJ Mag cover story, he admitted to having taken breaks for himself. But here's the thing, the EDM scene thrives on constant tours, visibility, singles. Taking years of breaks, coming off with a new alias and touring it, doing one-off collaborations, that's just all bad business on paper, right? I'm going on a necessary tangent here because it's really clear that this model is really apparent in their mutual idol, Daft Punk. Throughout their 28-year-long career, they have released just 4 studio albums. They are exceptionally meticulous and perfectionist when it comes to their art. Oh yeah, Alive 2007. It's also the blueprint for both Porter and Maddie to do their live shows. As opposed to regular DJ sets found in EDM, the live shows is one big encompassing moment, flawlessly blending their discography from one song to another. But they only did Alive 2007 once. They do not try to prolong things and instead keep it something ephemeral. Where's Alive 2017? 2027? Daft Punk was also a business mastermind too. They retained total creative control for the entirety of their career. They used the power of record labels with their own leverage. Hell, look, both Porter and Marion owns masters for their albums too. Not every artist gets to do this. Really. Also, realize this, what they're doing isn't financially sustainable on paper. live shows at their scale are expensive as hell. Porter even admitted one time that the early world tour was breaking even at best, calling them a labor of love. Yes, they do tour hard during album cycles, get high festival billings, secure crazy things throughout their careers. One of them even has his own festival. And yes, they do own their masters, but streaming isn't really where the bag is for them. They're not Taylor Swift, if you know what I mean. If they wanted real money, they'd just be doing DJ sets all year, taking every festival booking, and touring constantly, making EDM bangers for the masses. Instead, they only tour when they have something to say and make it the best experience for the fans. Yeah, they have money, but you don't see them jet-setting around on yachts or flexing on Instagram. They modeled something that is sustainable for them by prioritizing their artistic and creative longevity, then built the financial framework around the cornet, not the other way around. Avicii's death in 2018 was the wake-up call for the industry. The dream that everyone wanted turned out to be a fatal and irresponsible lifestyle.
In the genres of music we were making, there was no example of success.
Right.
Really. Like our heroes, our dreams, the thing we wanted to become, we're not like superstar millionaire DJs jet setting around playing arenas. They were like, like making a living, playing a club show every once in a while, and like it was pretty modest. But to us, that was like the insane ceiling. Like, can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
Like my actual dream was like, I want to make at least like minimum wage, like making music, and that's my dream. And like I wasn't dreaming any bigger than this, and I don't think any of us were. And most of us were not even dreaming of making it, like doing it professionally. So it was something very pure, but in an environment where we really did it for the skill and for the craft. And there was no other fantasy kind of distracting it.
Finally, you have to keep in mind that from the 2011 cohort of EDM, only Porter and Madeon write this model of artistry. The rest were either doubling down on big urban festival sound or leaning into massive pop collaborations. But are they wrong? Of course not. Maybe artistic enjoyment as specific as Porter and Madeon isn't for them. But you have to note that at the peak of their commercial value, Porter and Madeon hit the brakes. They publicly questioned the very scene that was making them rich and famous. No one else at their level was actively turning down pop hits like Porter did with Clarity, or spending years and millions of dollars of their own money to build complex, narrative-driven, non-BG live shows that forced audiences to stop jumping up and down and just watch and feel. They rejected the entire DJ as superstar model while they were the superstars. It was a radical, incredibly risky move that none of their peers were making. They're both just constantly chasing after something they're really passionate about. And what comes after is perhaps the manifestation of everything they've been working on throughout their careers. Put Faith and Nurture are Madeon and Porter as themselves. Both of these albums are their true statement. This is where they prove they're not just EDM producers, they are true, full-blown artists. You can hear it in their distinct vocal processing that defines each record. Good Faith features this heavily processed, auto-tuned vocal that sometimes transforms the voice into an instrument that complements the choir, French house sound going on, live instrumentations, and these clear influences of pop, something like Madeon has the versatility for. Conversely, Nurture employs this higher register singing voice to deliver vulnerable topics with beautiful, organic instrumentation that's inspired by a lot of J-pop, blended with this glitchy, intimate folktronica of Bon Iver, and the delicate orchestral beauty of ambient Japanese film scores, while also embracing Good Faith sensibility with singing head-on and taking it to the live show.
The section at the end, there was a long time when I wanted this to be the first song to come out just because of that section at the end. I liked that section as for being kind of explanatory, that it's me. Because it's really important that it's me singing.
You've seen Madeon and Porter side by each other, but you've never really seen them doing the exact same thing. They make electronic music, but they are really inspired by different things and been with completely different palettes. It's this contrast that makes their parallel evolution so compelling. They prove that you don't need to sound like one another to shed the same uncompromising integrity. If you're a fan of both Madeon and Porter at this stage of their career, you're really in for a treat. The Good Faith route started at the LA Billboard that led to a Lollapalooza debut, Pop-Up Store, Good Faith Radio, and whatever the hell the Good Faith is. And then COVID happened when Porter rolled out Nurture. In retrospect, it's shown that it's actually a good thing for them in a way, even though the initial Madion's live show in Red Orcs got cancelled and Porter's long-awaited sophomore album got delayed. But for real, they confronted real things in their sophomore albums and faced it head first. Good Faith marks a shift from the offbeat, kinda innocuous sound of Adventure towards a more organic, soulful, and introspective style, exploring themes of finding and reclaiming joy. Good Faith, it refers to the act of maintaining hope even when facing hardships. He described the album as a coming-of-age experience, an honest reflection of his emotional state following the pressures of his career. He described it as telling a little bit more about the truth, but Madion being Madion, he of course was intentionally being vague for the sake of privacy. You can pick apart some moments though, like a kind of dangerous show in Be Fun, his bittersweet move to America in Miracle, and social anxiety in All My Friends. Madion's ARG for the Prince kicked off, leading to a very secret project of his, which is Silly Nippy. Subsequently, Good Faith Forever as the next iteration of Good Faith Live also took off, leading up to 2 songs of the Good Faith era, While You Back and It Gonna Be Good. He also did another show in Red Rocks, which got rescheduled because of weather. Poor guy. Oh yeah, Grammy nomination for Best Dance/Electronic Album for Good Faith. Oh, and Porter too. Nurture, the long-awaited album, released in 2021, which was supposedly slated for 2020. It arrived as a deeply personal and vulnerable record, documenting his struggles with creative block and depression following the success of Worlds, while also exploring the themes of growth, self-acceptance, and finding beauty in everyday life. After its release on April 23rd, he held Sacred Sky 2021, following its debut the previous year as a special pandemic live show curated by Porter. There, he performed the first iteration of Nurture Live, then he went on to host Second Sky 2021, followed by a massive 30-day North America tour. He truly had one hell of a year. He later released Everything Goes On for the League of Legends Star Guardian event, which he dubbed as a part of the Nurture Plus era, which we never really get to see the light of the day. He even brought the tour to Asia and Australia in 2023 and performed a celebrated set at Coachella. Hey, I know that guy. And their live shows, well... If you have yet to tap in, I truly recommend listening to their discography from the front to the back. I think Porter's Second Sky 2021 live set and Madion's 2023 Red Rocks are the definitive experience for this part of their career. Just listen to how they interwoven their discography in their own spectacular way. This is Porter Robinson and Madion, and they truly outlive the box that everyone imposed them to be. They are a testament of how earnest one can be in choice of their art, in spite of immense commercial pressure. They lived an alternative model of how an EDM star can be and decided to pursue it full stop. They might not be the most popular artist to ever live, but I'm sure it's not in their bucket list anytime soon. And whatever they choose to do next, I'm sure it's gonna be something completely different. Yeah, it took too long with this video. Porter is now full-on pop star and Mariana dated a married girl. She's got a ring on her finger, so it's complicated. That's crazy. Please buy the album. But yeah, as they demonstrated again and again throughout their career, they are constantly evolving, inspired by each other, artistry, DJing, ABUP-centric approach. If there's one lesson to take from their entire journey, the ethos is this: you just gotta do your own shit. If you enjoyed this video and want to support more deep dives like this one, you can support me directly via Ko-Fi. This has been Tumon. Thank you for watching.
But you know, this guy, what is his name? You know, Porter Robinson is, for me, what is this? This is the weeaboo EDM. You know, this is total bullshit. This is not the real music. Who is this guy?